does it work? Yep, but too fast. Yes, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Angelina Aziz. I'm postdoctoral researcher at the chair of computing and engineering at the Ruhr University in Bochum, Germany. And I'm really happy to present our work on transforming unstructured visual building data into structured knowledge graphs. And let's start, like always, with the motivation. So building inspections generate a lot of rich evidence. So we collect a lot of images. We have to do reports on certain fire safety equipment. As you can see here on the right, the fire safety inspector assesses the visibility or the accessibility of the fire extinguisher in this case. However, this information still remains unstructured and still disconnected from the building information environment. And and as a result, it cannot be queried. So we can't really figure out if certain assets need a certain inspection. And and that's why we're asking the key question, which is how can visual inspection data become machine-readable building knowledge? And we also did a little literature review on knowledge graphs and computer vision. So in the computer vision area and also the visual language models, there are a lot of research papers which focus on visual interpretation, monitoring, and inspection reporting. Also, I guess a lot of you are familiar with knowledge graphs and ontologies here. And however, existing approaches do not generate, in our case, IFC-aligned knowledge graphs directly from those fire safety inspection media. And therefore, a method is needed that converts the images collected during the inspections, or let's say also videos, into structured, validated, and ontology-aligned building knowledge. Oops. So the objective is to develop a certain pipeline. We would like to show today the VLM to knowledge graph pipeline. So we transform inspection images and videos into structured RDF knowledge graphs for BIM-based workflows. And for that, we formulated 3 research questions. The first question is about, can structured prompting extract inspection attributes reliably? The second one is, can these attributes be mapped to aligned RDF knowledge graphs? And we wanted to know how consistent are knowledge graphs under varying conditions. And here you can see the whole pipeline. So first, we collect the images and the videos. For the videos, we also have a second step, which we call the pre-processing step. So we extract frames from the videos and use them as representative images and also downsample them. And after that, we have 2 VLM calls. The first VLM call is basically that the model generates a general description of the scene. So we first gather context details about a certain room or a specific area of a building. And secondly, we have the second VLM prompt call, which is more related to the schema-constrained extraction. So at this step, we extract attributes in a certain format we would like to have in the knowledge graph later on. And fifth, we have the validation layer. So it can happen that a certain attribute is missing and there is a certain an iterative step back. We include their follow-up prompts and we extract additional information. And if it's still incomplete or is missing, we include the attribute missing. Then the sixth step is the ontology alignment. So there we perform the mapping. So the data is mapped to the IFC OWL entities. And then it is able to be downloaded or serialized as RDF. And lastly, we also created a knowledge graph viewer, basically just to explore the different knowledge graphs generated during the inspection. So talking about the system architecture, we have a front end and a back end. The front end is built with React. We have certain parts like the user interface where the user is able to upload an image or the video. Also here, the video is downsampled, and we also sample the videos at 1 frame per second and limited it to 100 frames. And the backend actually orchestrates prompting, and also we have here the validation part or the validation layer. And we focus in this work on GPT-4o. So all the VLM calls use this model. So regarding the experimental setup, we defined 3 scenarios, as you can see on the right. Scenario 1 concentrates on a case where the fire safety equipment and the sign are both visible. The second one is where the equipment is missing, so you can't see here the extinguisher, but the sign is visible. And in scenario 3, neither the extinguisher nor the sign is visible. And each scenario was processed 100 times with the identical prompting and identical setting. And our evaluation focused on also the extraction consistency and the attribute coverage, and also how inside the knowledge graph, how the connectivity looks like. And talking about the results, you can see on the right that the visible safety elements were extracted consistently across all hundreds repeated runs. However, we had some disagreements, especially if a sign was missing. And also, you can see here, we have here strong alignments with the ground truth. So we created the ground truth data by ourselves by annotating them. And here you can also see for each scenario the knowledge graphs, and it's, I guess, very striking that the knowledge graphs change with the amount of visible evidence. So here you have all information in this image, so we are able to see the extinguisher and also the sign. So that also means that the knowledge graph is much more or contains more information than we have here on the right. And talking about the strengths, we also created a lot of follow-up prompts. So sometimes if an information was missing, like the extinguisher, we created a structured follow-up prompt to only concentrate on this missing attribute, and it helped a lot. However, we still need more data and different case studies and to evaluate this study. So the key takeaway is that we can transform inspection media into structured, machine-readable building knowledge, and we hopefully get more data in future. And yeah, thank you very much. It was based on the rooms. So let's say we are in this room and we collected 1 video per room, and then we actually transferred or extracted frames